What if humanity once spoke a single, perfectly unified language? Imagine a world where every nation, every scattered tribe, and every individual soul on the face of the earth marched under a single banner, driven by a solitary mind, communicating without a shred of friction. And what if mankind attempted to exploit that absolute unity to build a structure so massive, so structurally impossible, that it literally challenged the cosmic gates of heaven itself? Then comes the question that has quietly puzzled theologians, brilliant historians, and hardened skeptics for thousands of years. Why did God stop them? Was the literal creator of the universe genuinely threatened by primitive human engineering? Was this ancient tower actually capable of piercing the spiritual realm? Or was there something far more sinister, a dark psychological undercurrent happening on the plains of Shinar that most modern people completely miss? Today, we peel back the thick layers of ancient dust, mythology, and sacred text to uncover the shocking, hidden reality behind one of the Bible's greatest and most misunderstood mysteries. This is the untold story of the Tower of Babel. To truly understand the dark rebellion of Babel, we have to first look at the thick mud left behind by the Great Flood. The earth was completely silent. The old world, with all its violent chaos, institutional wickedness, and systemic corruption, had been entirely wiped clean under millions of tons of cascading water. As Noah and his family stepped off the colossal wooden ark and onto the damp, pristine soil of Mount Ararat, God gave them a foundational, non-negotiable command. It is recorded forever in the text of Genesis chapter 9, verse 1. "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth." Notice that phrase carefully. It was not a casual suggestion, it was a divine directive for intentional dispersion. Humanity was supposed to be a flowing river, spreading out across the virgin continents, establishing unique cultures, cultivating the wild earth, and reflecting the image of the Creator in every single corner of the globe. It was a fresh start, a completely blank slate for the human race. But human nature carries an old, deep-seated infection, and history was about to repeat itself in the most defiant way imaginable. Generations quickly pass. The small family that walked off the ark multiplies into complex clans, then sweeping tribes, and finally into massive, burgeoning populations. As these massive groups migrate eastward, they discover a giant, incredibly fertile plain in the land of Shinar, a geographic region we recognize today as modern-day Iraq. Here, on this boundless plain, something extraordinary happens. Everyone speaks the exact same language. Every dialect is identical. Every word means the same to every ear. Communication is completely, effortlessly fluid. Think about the sheer, unbridled power of that reality. Trade flourishes overnight because there are no commercial barriers. Mathematical and engineering concepts are shared across campfires without a single line of translation. For the first time since the devastating flood, mankind achieves total global unity. But we must realize a sobering truth. Unity is a neutral force. In the hands of a flawless, holy humanity, it is a reflection of heaven. But in the hands of a broken, prideful race, total centralization can quickly become an absolute living nightmare. It is within this crucible of perfect unity that one of the most enigmatic and terrifying figures in ancient history emerges, a man named Nimrod. Genesis chapter 10 introduces him to the historical record as a mighty hunter before the Lord. But in the original ancient Hebrew context, that phrase carries a heavy, highly aggressive connotation. Nimrod wasn't hunting wild beasts or stalking deer in the forest. Ancient traditions reveal he was a master hunter of men's souls and freedom. He was the world's very first tyrant. Ancient historical accounts, including the extensive antiquities written by the historian Josephus, strongly suggest that Nimrod was the charismatic mastermind behind the Shinar settlement. He was a ruthless autocrat who realized a dark political truth. If you completely control the language, you completely control the minds of the people. He didn't want the population looking up to an invisible, sovereign God in heaven. He wanted them looking straight ahead at a visible, absolute king sitting on an earthly throne. Many scholars believe the city of Babel became the absolute engine of his totalitarian empire, leading humanity directly into an organized, armed rebellion against their maker. Was Nimrod simply an ambitious ancient king, or was he engineering the world's first matrix of psychological and spiritual control? Tell me what you think in the comments right now. On the wide plains of Shinar, a massive royal decree goes out. The global population is gathered into immense assemblies, and their collective words are recorded with chilling precision in Genesis 11, verse 4. "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens." Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth. Look closely at the sheer, brilliant engineering taking place here. These people did not gather crude, irregular fieldstones to stack blindly. Instead, they manufactured uniform, high-quality, kiln-baked bricks and sealed them with an impervious, waterproof asphalt known as bitumen mortar. This was cutting-edge, industrial-grade technology for its era. But separate the brilliant technology from the underlying motive. Listen carefully to their loud declaration. Let us make a name for ourselves. This grand monument wasn't an altar built for holy worship. It wasn't erected to thank the God who saved their ancestors from the judgment of the deep. It was pure, unadulterated self-glorification. It was a massive brick-and-mortar monument declaring absolute independence from the divine. This is the exact turning point where the narrative becomes incredibly fascinating. For generations, simplified Sabbath school stories have taught us that God was upset simply because the tower was physically tall. But let's look at that logically. Modern spaceships fly past the clouds every single day, and God doesn't strike them out of orbit. The physical height of the brickwork was never the primary issue. The real, deep-seated sin of Babel was its systemic, centralized pride. God's explicit post-flood command to humanity was to spread out, fill the earth, and multiply across diverse landscapes. Babel was the absolute, direct antithesis of that order. It was an aggressive anti-dispersion movement. It was the forced centralization of all human power, one centralized global government, one single universal language, one absolute localized center of religious, economic, and political influence. By refusing to scatter, they were creating a massive echo chamber for the human ego. It was the birth of a one-world system explicitly designed to eliminate the need for God, replacing divine sovereignty with the collective willpower of the human state. In Genesis chapter 11, verse 5, the biblical text delivers one of the most brilliant, quietly sarcastic, and deeply ironic moments in all of ancient literature. The scripture states, "But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built." Step back for a moment and look at the sheer comedy of this cosmic scene. To the microscopic human beings working on those high wooden scaffolds, their tower was a towering mountain, a structural masterpiece piercing the clouds, draining generations of human sweat, tears, and blood. They truly believed they were knocking directly on heaven's door, but from the perspective of an infinite, transcendent creator who holds the infinite galaxies in the palm of his hand. The tower was so completely microscopic, so utterly insignificant, that he literally had to bend down, parting the atmosphere, just to catch a glimpse of it. The text exposes the absolute vanity of human achievement when measured against the infinite scale of the Almighty. God looks upon the city and notes, if as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. We must understand that God did not utter these words out of fear or a sense of vulnerability. He said it out of absolute mercy, left completely unchecked. A unified, fallen humanity, using advanced technology, would quickly accelerate its own self-destruction. So, without firing a single bolt of lightning, and without unleashing a massive earthquake to crack the foundations, God unleashes the ultimate weapon of mass disruption. He instantly confuses their vocabulary. Imagine the utter chaos on the scaffolding tiers. A master mason screams down for a fresh bucket of bitumen mortar. But the worker below hears total, unrecognizable gibberish. He brings up a basket of heavy stone blocks instead. The mason gets angry, shouts louder, and to the worker's ear, it sounds like an aggressive insult. Within a matter of hours, the entire industrial complex of Shinar completely collapses into absolute, frantic chaos. Misunderstandings lead to deep suspicion. Suspicion turns into heated arguments, and arguments spark physical fights. The grand project stops dead in its tracks. The forced unity is instantly shattered. Family clans that can still understand one another naturally band together for safety. They gather their basic belongings, pack up their livestock, and turn their backs forever on the grand monument of human hubris. They begin to march away from Shinar in every single direction of the compass. One group migrates toward the cold, rugged northern mountains. Another moves toward the sun-drenched African plains. Others head toward the coastlines of Europe and the vast expanses of Asia. The half-finished metropolis is left completely abandoned to the elements, earning the permanent historical name Babel, which literally translates to confusion. This single, explosive historical flashpoint is precisely where the modern world as we know it was born. From the ruins of Babel come different, unique languages, different, rich cultures, different, complex ethnic heritages, and the global distribution of nations. What humanity tried to prevent through willful rebellion, God accomplished effortlessly through a single act of divine intervention. But here is the most haunting, deeply controversial question for our modern world to consider. Was the story of Babel merely an isolated ancient event buried in history, or was it a prophetic blueprint for the final chapter of human civilization? Look around us today. Through the hyperconnectivity of the internet, real-time artificial intelligence translation software, and global economic markets, humanity is rapidly, methodically dismantling the language barrier once again. We are actively constructing a digital Babel. We are moving closer by the day to a highly integrated, cashless, one-world economic and cultural framework. Once again, modern secular society is loudly declaring, "Let us make a name for ourselves. Let us build a technological utopia without needing a creator." If God stepped down to break apart the primitive tower of brick and asphalt in Shinar, what does that mean for a modern global civilization that is actively rebuilding the exact same system of collective pride? Are we currently living in the long shadow of a second Babel? Drop a comment below right now. Do you think modern technology and global networking are creating a literal new Tower of Babel? Let's start a discussion down below. The ambitious builders of Babel wanted to manufacture a name that would echo through eternity, but their legacy became a permanent warning of division. They sought unity without absolute truth, ambition without divine obedience, and absolute power without deep humility. And, as it always does across the pages of history, unchecked human pride led straight to structural collapse. Yet, God's master story did not end in the tragic confusion of the scattering. Hidden deep within the genealogies of those scattered, migrating nations was a quiet, ordinary, faithful man living in the dry ruins of Mesopotamia, a man whose name was Abram. While the rest of the world was busy trying to build giant towers to force their way up to reach God, God decided to reach down to this one faithful soul. God didn't ask Abram to build a towering ziggurat of pride. He asked him to build a humble altar of clay and stone. And through his family lineage, a divine plan would be set in motion that would eventually heal the division of Babel, bringing a true, lasting unity to every tongue, tribe, and nation on earth. Thank you for diving deep with us into history's greatest mysteries today. If you found value in this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and drop a like on this video. We will see you in the next deep dive into the secrets of the past. Stay curious and take care.